Happy Monday from Scotland. I have Loucas George here with me. Well, Loucas, we just came from a session across the street, and boy, was that fun.
It was fun, yeah, it was great. This is what it's all about in Scotland, and I'm glad you could be part of it.
From some little step dancing there, and playing along with the two fiddle players.
Two fiddle players, a couple of guitar players, yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a lot of my local friend musicians.
That's right. I tell you, we have had such a good time here at your house, and so great to visit you after all this time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We met when you were producing the Nashville TV show.
That's right, that's right. I was flying back and forth from LA to Nashville, and I was sitting in the airport when this little girl said to me, "You don't have a carry-on." And I was like,
That's right.
"No, I don't."
Okay.
She was like, "Well, could you carry a guitar on for me?" And I was like, "Are you a bomber?"
Well, I carried the big guitar. I had you carry the little one.
guitar.
That's right, yeah.
And then we started talking because we flew together, and we've become friends ever since. And it's been a great time. I mean, we've been to a lot of different things together. I've met a lot of different people because of you.
Oh,
so it was
thanks.
great.
And likewise, I got to go backstage while you were filming the Nashville TV show. Got to go on the General Jackson riverboat when you were filming there, and to your big do your
rap
big
party.
The
rap
rap
party. Yeah.
Wow.
Took over Titan Stadium in Tennessee. Yeah, that was nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a
Big deal.
Good rap party.
Fireworks, everything. Wow. I've never been to a party like that before, I tell you. You throw a party.
I threw a party. I can throw parties. Yeah,
That's
I don't know
right.
if I can make TV shows, but I can throw parties.
Well, some people say you'll do TV shows.
Yeah, I do both.
too.
Yeah, I do both.
Yeah.
No, it's been good. Yeah. It's been good. No, that was great. That was great. I remember that. That was good times in Nashville, you know, and I sort of miss Nashville a lot. If I didn't move here, I would have moved to Nashville.
Okay.
You know?
So people want to know, being that, is your given name really Loucas George?
It is.
Yeah.
Well, it was Georgiou. It was Greek.
Oh.
So it was Loucas Georgiou, and I shortened it to George.
Yeah. So, and did you really write War Stars?
No, I didn't. Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. That's been hawking me all my life. You
Yes.
know? We both happen to be in the same business. Yeah, and I've actually met him.
You've met George Lucas?
Yeah, George
really?
Lucas. I was doing the OC, and his daughter was a fan of the OC. So he came down to the set, and this was early on. You know, OC was years ago, so we were still talking. He was still digital, and I was like, no, film. You know, and we went back and forth on it. But so I have a picture of him and me, and I had it on my Facebook page for a long time until somebody stole my Facebook page.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, we have just a pile of comments that are coming in here. Let me just take a look. So, you know, I don't know. I need these now to see the comments in this little teeny tiny print on the screens. Just a bunch of greetings from Pennsylvania, the Deep South, Cajun country. And a lot of greetings. And we want to thank Dan and Shashi. They came in and sponsoring tonight's show. Yeah, all right. And
I've never done anything like this. I've sort of watching, you know, this is sort of, I make television shows and I've done commercials, but I've never done a live broadcast on YouTube.
On YouTube, wow. No. How about that? Unbelievable giving you a first of all people, yes. Gee, you've done so many incredible shows. Yeah.
I've been very lucky. Yeah. I came over here, well, right when the COVID hit, you know, and I was about to go off to Vancouver to do a show, and then everything shut down, you know, the whole world shut down. And I was like, geez, you know. So I thought, good time to sort of, if nobody's working and I don't have to feel guilty about not working, that then maybe I could do something with this time. And I decided to get out of LA because I was, my youngest had graduated, was gone. Actually, my youngest had gone to school. And we didn't have to be in LA anymore, so I was like, I'm going to get out of here. And I sold everything and moved to Scotland.
Gee.
And I thought that's where I wanted to live. Well, we were sort of looking for different schools for my youngest, and we'd come to Scotland, and we'd been to London, and we'd been to Ireland, and we'd been to a bunch of different places. And I just thought, I love the people up here, and I love the country. And when I was in England and London, everybody up down there was coming up here for lunch, not for lunch, coming up here for holidays. So I said, well, if I'm going to live somewhere, I want to live where they go for holidays. I don't want to live, and go up to Scotland for holidays. I want to live where the holiday is.
Yeah. Well,
so.
I can see now why you want to be here after, all the beautiful places that you brought us to. We went on the
It's a beautiful
steamboats.
country, yeah. It's a beautiful country. It's that's the thing. If you come to Scotland, if you've never been to Scotland, and you come to Scotland, you probably go to Edinburgh, you'll go to Glasgow, and those are beautiful cities, and it's worth going to see them. But if you want to see the Scotland of Braveheart, or you want to see the Scotland of what you've seen, then you have to come north, and north is where the lochs and the mountains are.
And that's where there's a picking session right across.
Right.
Yeah, we ducked out of that picking session.
Well, that's part of it out here. I think part of it is the music, and it's just and the people, and that's why we sort of moved here. I was lucky enough to get a show here, so I came here. I just did Good Omens for Amazon. So after I finished Good Omens, we said that's it. We're not leaving, so we stayed here.
No.
And it's been great.
Fantastic. Yeah. So somebody was asking, have you met any of the Beatles in your?
Yes. I met John Lennon. I did John Lennon's last video. Unfortunately, just before he was killed, we shot it at the Hit Factory.
Oh, really?
It was called the Lost Videos because people have heard about it, and it's actually been on the internet, and they wrote about it, and that these videos, they heard we'd done them, and then some people have seen them, and Yoko Ono had them for a long time, and they've only just started to surface a little bit. But yeah, we shot them when Yoko was doing her album for the first time, and I got to smoke a joint with John.
Smoke a joint
with John, and got to sing a little song with him while we were waiting for a camera to be fixed. So this was this is one of all the people I've met. He's one of the top.
Yeah,
I met with John Lennon.
Well, I guess I better do Imagine then for you. Okay.
everybody, and I've told you this, you've heard this story before, but when I first met, you know, she gave, when we were sitting on the plane, she gave me a recording of something that she'd done, which was very superstitious.
Oh.
And I listened to it, and I was like, you know, that's really good. I mean, that's just you? Yeah, that's just me. And I was like, oh, well, wow, that's great, you know. So when I was on the set, after we got to Nashville, and I was on the set with all these musicians, a lot of musicians in Nashville, you know, T-Bone Burnett and all these people, and I was like, sort of, oh, listen to this girl, you know, played this, and she showed me, and they said, there's no way, that's been overdubbed. And I was like, no, she said she did it. No, you know, this is what I do for a living. This has been overdubbed. I can tell you that's been overdubbed.
Yeah.
And then the next day you came in on the set and you were sitting with me, and that same person happened to be behind us in the chair, and I said, he says that you overdubbed this.
Yeah.
And you said, get a guitar. You got a guitar, and they were all blown away. All these musicians were blown away by it, you know.
Well, I had learned that from Pete Huttlinger, and I was doing an all-star guitar night. I had rented the Ryman Auditorium for that.
Oh, did you? Yes, Ryan was great, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting next to Pete, and he sits there and plays this arrangement of Superstition. I'm looking at him, like just next to him, like me and you. And I say, that's impossible. He's not doing what it is I'm seeing.
Because it's like it's 3 or 4 different parts, and you're playing all of them all at once, yeah.
And so I said, okay, Pete, you've got to show it to me. And then chorus, I changed it around a little bit, and I added some parts.
See, now, I didn't know, I've never heard that story. So I always thought you just listened to it, and you listened to it so intensely, and then you did one thing, and then you did the next, and then you learned how to do it all at once. Because I've never been able to, you know, I played guitar when I was young, but I've never been able to finger pick.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you know, that is, I'm just totally blown away by that.
Well, I mean, you should listen to Pete Huttlinger's version too. It's a little bit different. He does some different variations. So I kind of went in a little different direction and added some parts and took parts away and added other parts. So. But here's my little bit that I played for Lucas when I was doing this. Let's see if you can see my hands here. I'll bring the camera down just a little bit so that got a little bit more hands.
Yeah, so little hands that move like unbelievable.
Okay, here we go. So this is the part that Pete showed me, like this little clavinet bit. Now this is the part that I added. He didn't have this. I heard this little part. Little guitar riff.
Yeah.
So I added that. And Pete had Stevie Wonder's part here. I give it a little more wiggle. Then, of course, the horns. It's all Pete Huttlinger here. guitar scream. Double stops again.
I love that.
That's a combination.
Great, yeah. I have to say, we were at Dune Castle today,
Yeah.
and Muriel started playing outside on the lawn while we were waiting for something, and all these people started coming. You gave a lot of European, it's Germans, Spanish. There were so many people there. They were all like sort of just listening. I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun. It was a beautiful day today too. It was just beautiful and sunny.
It was, sunny.
Very un-Scottish weather. Very un-Scottish weather.
Yeah, I know. What happened to that Scotch mist?
There's Scotch mist. Well, it's global warming happening now everywhere, and every place is changing, and I think Scotland's getting nicer. But
Yeah.
don't come here.
We don't want too
We
many
don't want
people.
too many people here. No.
It's very sparsely populated.
It is
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I like it. I like it,
Yeah.
and the air is clean, and the water is clean, and it's just
Well, we are
nice.
getting a lot of comments. Let's see if we have any questions here for you. Marty says he ain't superstitious. Okay, that's good to hear. All right, and San Francisco Peninsula is popping in here saying hello in North Carolina, and Bubba's saying hi from Texas. Yeah, Bubba Keith, another player who's played with a bunch of rock stars. Yep, and let's see. Oh, here's. Neil asked if I've added a few new elements to Imagine, or have I just missed them? Imagine, I improvise it every time. I don't actually have a set arrangement of it. So I never know how it's going to come out. It's kind of throwing caution to the wind when I do that. I don't know if it's going to come out better or worse than last time.
I thought I hear the music in my head as you're playing it, and it's interesting because your version of Imagine is in a way maybe a little bit better than in my mind. Of course I love John Lennon's version of Imagine. And it's such a shame we lost him. He was it's just interesting the talent that exists in this world and that we sometimes lose. We were listening to Joe Hisaishi the other night, right? And I was just Japanese and just incredible talent around this world, and it's beautiful to sort of discover it and stuff. And I'm glad to have you in my life.
Oh, well, likewise. Man, we have just had a wonderful time. We went right from the Irish tour there with the Emerald Guitars, and it was like top notch the entire way. We just were taken care of at every step, just like here. Just great meals, great scenery, great music, great fun. And they told me that they have some openings for their next September tour. And if you're thinking of going to Ireland at some point, that is just a great way to do it.
Where in Ireland? Because Ireland's a big country.
I know it is. Donegal.
Donegal.
Yes, is where they are home. Their home base is, and they travel like a couple hours this way, then a couple hours this way, and a couple hours this way. And so you get to see a lot.
It's a beautiful country.
Yeah.
Ireland. I used to go to Ireland all the time. We had a farm there, and every time we flew in, I felt like I was. Especially coming out of LA, LA's beautiful, but LA's a little gray, and concrete and stuff. And you fly into Dublin, and it's just like green, like it's color television for the first time. Like you've been watching black and white TV all your life, and
Really
then you're coming
green.
in, it's coming in, it's like, wow, this is gorgeous. When I first started going to Ireland, and we drive around, and we'd come around this mountain pass, and you'd see this rainbow coming down on the hill, and the cows and the sheep, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. So, oh my God, and then you'd go around the corner, and there'd be something else that'd be even more gorgeous, and then you'd go around the corner, and then after a while you say, I'm sick of gorgeous, where's the pub?
That's the way it goes.
Because it's just, okay.
Yeah.
And they believe me, they have a lot of pubs here.
Well, yeah, Ireland and Scotland both, yeah.
Yeah, Scotland loves their whiskey.
Yeah.
So single malt, double malt, I'm learning to drink whiskey. I've never been a whiskey drinker, but I know now that I live here, I have to learn how to
Yes,
drink
okay,
whiskey.
that's prerequisite here.
It's prerequisite, yes. You have to learn how to drink whiskey and speak. And I'm learning to say, we. This is a wee. That's a wee. You're a wee girl with a nice guitar.
It's a wee little thing.
Wee little thing, yes.
Yes. Well, you had mentioned, playing at Doon Castle. I'll play one of the tunes that I was playing out in front of the castle, and also at the picking session. There are several that I've written in kind of a Celtic style, and now that I've been here, I'm kind of inspired to write a few more.
Okay,
so.
good. Well, we have to talk to you about maybe writing something for Callendar, which is a little town that we're in here. Callendar is this little town in the middle of the Trossachs National Park. And if you come to Scotland, the further north you get, the more beautiful it becomes. Of course, the further north you get, the roads become smaller, and it becomes like, you have to have something else to do for a living besides, staying in your house and your farm. And where this is just about the farthest north you can go before you start to leave civilization. There's a Stirling. There's a little city near here. It's the biggest city near here. But then there's this national park next to Stirling, and Callendar is this little town or little village, as we say, a wee village. A wee village in the Trossachs National Park. And, it's sort of, it used to be a very big tourist town once upon a time, because a train used to come here from Edinburgh and Glasgow, and from London, too. So people used to come up here for vacations. And then, like they do, they stopped the train. And then COVID hit, and, the town sort of went through a regression. So now it's sort of like, used to be a big tourist town, but it's nice. It's not as much. It's a tourist town still, but it's not a big tourist town, which makes it nice. But actually it is nice, and I don't know if I want to make it a big tourist town again.
But if you want to buy a big old church.
Want to buy, actually, there's a big church here. Yeah, a lot of churches for sale in Scotland.
Well, let me play this, and if anyone has any questions about your new projects, and also about, do you remember the TV show Nashville that was on? Any questions about that? Because Loucas produced that for how long?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah,
2
did
years.
the pilot in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah. So I'll do this tune I call Clarsa, which means harp in Gaelic. And then we'll take some questions. I'll put my glasses on again and take your questions for Loucas. right, so that was Clarsa harp. Let's see. Oh, here we are. Well, let's see. It says, oh, here we got more comments coming over here. Oh, Neil is asking Brian, who was poking around here a minute, if are we going to take the Chivas Cellar tasting tour? And he wants Chivas, sorry,
Yeah.
Chivas Cellar tasting tour, and if we'd bring back a keg of Stone of Destiny for him, he'd be ever so grateful. So what is Stone of Destiny and the Chivas Cellar tasting tour? Do you know?
Don't know. I know Chivas.
Okay.
You know, but I don't know Chivas tastings. No, none of that. I don't know that.
Okay.
So that's interesting. But I'm supposed to learn about Scotch now that I'm here. I have a friend, a Greek friend, who's told me he's going to teach me to drink Scotch.
Okay. And from Australia, Maureen from Australia, loved the show Nashville. And and we have several people here who are just really said they enjoyed the show Nashville. And let's see, and we have some other comments about Scotch coming through. And Lucas Marty was wondering, Lucas, if you're making any haggis for us while we are here.
Oh, haggis. I've told them they have to have haggis because it's one of the Scottish things you have to have while you're here. But they can have vegetarian haggis if you don't want to, if everyone knows what haggis is, you probably don't want to have it.
Okay. And another question, do you know Mull of Kintyre?
Mull of Kintyre? No, but I've only been here for 4 years.
Yes. And Shashi says, Lucas, you have a great laugh.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Okay, we're back to 50-year Coronation single malt Scotch.
Oh,
We have
yeah.
a request for that.
It sounds like some people here belong. If you're looking for that kind of Scotch, you need to come here. We did a Scotch tour like 3 days ago.
Oh,
We had some
really?
friends in from San Francisco. We went to one of the newer distilleries in Edinburgh and I've done a couple of them. It's like, when I lived in New York for years, and when people used to come into New York, you had to go to the top of the Empire State Building, you had to take the Circle Line, the same thing when you lived in LA, everybody wants to go down and see the stars and, and Hollywood Boulevard and stuff like that. So when everybody comes to Scotland, that's one of the things you got to do is go for Scotch tours, because, so they teach you how they make Scotch and a peat and so on and so forth. So, I mean, it's a very, I've never been a Scotch drinker, but I'm going to become one because it is, and the people who like Scotch love Scotch, and they sort of know what they're drinking, and so I'm going to have to develop a taste for it, and get there eventually,
Well, don't get there too much.
Don't get there too bad, yeah, well,
That's right.
it depends on how business is going.
That's right. And let's see, Rockin' Dave says, greetings from Southwest Florida, North Fort Myers.
Anybody from South Dakota? We were just with some people from South Dakota in the little bar near here. They were in visiting, and they were like, they loved Muriel's guitar, and they wanted to come to South Dakota and play. They were talking to Brian about it. Yeah, Brian's got all the information.
We do have somebody who was asking about recommendations for a harp guitar that won't break the bank. And there are two very good harp guitar builders right now who can make also a nylon string harp guitar. Dave and Tone of Tone Devil Guitars are building them up in the Pacific Northwest, Utah area, and also Timberline is making very nice harp guitars. Those are accessible, at least, it's a pretty big deal to make, shape all the wood in this, and for harp guitars, it takes quite a lot more work. And you also might want to check out the carbon fiber harp guitars if you live in a climate that or travel a lot, like I do, or on a boat. So, and the emerald harp guitars are great if you have a climate that is not conducive to wood. It's too dry or too wet. And that's certainly worth looking into, and they're very, very nice sounding. They come in either nylon or steel. So those are my 3 recommendations there. And yeah, there's others. Go to harpguitars.net, and you'll find everything that you would ever want to know about harp guitars and much more. Oh yeah, we have a note that okay. Cool, and yeah, Doug has a Timberline steel string. How about that? So, and another question here on Lucas. What is your newest project? What are you working on now?
I'm developing a series that I can shoot here on. Well, I have a couple of projects that are coming to me. One was on Louis Armstrong, which would be shooting in New Orleans. But I'm working on a project here that I'm writing about Skye, which is an island off of Scotland. It's a magical place. When I say magical, I mean it's not just absolutely gorgeous, but it's magical. They say that there's a ley line that comes sort of from northern Scotland through here, and actually comes through this town of Callander, and where they say it's thin. And when they say it's thin, they mean that it's between our world and the other, and that you can sort of, and it's actually I heard about it because I was getting a haircut here at the barber shop, and the barber and I said, everybody here is so nice. I don't know why everybody's so nice, and he said because it's thin, and I was, what do you mean thin? And he explained to me the whole concept of thin, that it's sort of like the spiritual world, and that you can, and actually Callander is the place where the last witch was in England was, and she was actually during World War II. She lived here, and she could actually speak to dead people and so on and so forth. And they started, and some of the things that she said and heard, like she had a séance or something, and somebody's son came in, and she didn't even know he was dead, and he came in and said, he was on a boat that was sank in the Mediterranean, and that was like a secret. No one knew that. And so the Ministry of Defense started getting a little upset with her. And she actually had an admiral in one of her seances, and he said, and she told him that a battleship had sank. And that wasn't something, when he got back to his offices, he got a telegram that the battleship had sank. So the Ministry of Defense didn't like that she was coming out with things. They didn't know where it was coming from, but they had her arrested. And she was brought down at the Bailey, and 45 people came down and testified on her behalf to say that they thought she was real. And they wound up putting her in jail for like 6 months, and then later on she got back out again. But she was the last witch in England. So that's another thing that this little town is known for. And that means but it's thin. And I'm writing a series about Skye, where I'm sort of trying to make it a cross between, and I'm probably going to, fumble with some people here who are a little younger than I am. Northern Exposure, which was an old show about a town in Alaska, and I thought I feel like Skye is like that with the people up there, and I wanted to make it like an X-Files, so there's a little bit of it's thin,
Wow, it's fascinating.
Well, yeah, hopefully it'll be as good as I'd like to make it, but I see it in my head, and I'm trying to write that, and it's something I think I could shoot for like next to no money, because there's no place you can point a camera in the sky that's not beautiful, so we'll see if I can make it, and I'll make it for British television, and then we'll see if we can get it over back to the States.
Now this is all top secret.
Top secret, yeah.
Yeah, okay, don't let anyone know
Don't
about
tell anybody
this.
about this.
Don't tell.
No, I haven't finished the script yet.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. Well, we're gonna, I guess, sign off. I have just another comment popping. Oh, hi, Mike, who just popped in here, and another question from Dave Myron is, did I used to do shows in Downers Grove High School? And yes, I did. I do my Saturday after Thanksgiving concert, which I've done for 33 years, I think, running. And I used to do those at Downers Grove North High, at the big auditorium there. And then they got too busy. The auditorium got filled oftentimes at that time of year. So I'm now doing it at the First Congregational Church, which is the first place I ever played professionally. It was in the basement of that church, which is now and was then, in fact, the 2A Street Coffee House. I think it's the longest running coffee house in the Chicago area still. So that was first show I played professionally with my bluegrass band, which was a trio at that time. We got paid $20 for the three of us for the night.
Oh.
We were so proud. We were trying to figure out how are we going to split this $20 three ways.
Couldn't even buy you lunch.
Yeah, so that was our big gig. So now we are not in the little coffee house. We are in the big room upstairs. And so that's, if you're anywhere in the western suburbs, put this on your calendar, Saturday after Thanksgiving. And I'm going to have an Italian guitarist with me, fantastic guitarist, this year. And, well, I'll unless there's any other questions, popping in at the end, I'll put a little recording of one of the concerts I played in Italy, and I haven't listened to this myself. This is just, they just sent this to me. So you can, this is, I think, Eleanor Rigby that I played. Let me put this live. Here we are. Oh, all right. We are back. Oh. We're back. Okay. So, I don't know. I've done this Monday Live for. I was just telling Lucas, ever since the beginning of the pandemic, and there's, I still haven't gotten the, technical
technical
stuff.
side of it down. Well, you're
Yeah.
doing a lot better than I would be. I'll tell you that. You know, it's all magic for me watching it now.
Well, we did have a question pop in here that we wanted to answer is what company is doing the Donegal tour in September? And that is the Emerald Guitar Company. So if you go to Emerald Guitars, I guess it's emeraldguitars.com or Google Emerald Guitars, you can find out about it or at least write to them and get on their waiting list. You know, so as I mentioned, they do have some openings still. So very cool stuff. And let's see, and I think that's just a couple more greetings and thanks to Lucas for joining us. And Cynthia says thanks for a lovely evening. And they're sitting at the dock at Lake Gaston. Oh, nice.
Love that.
Nice. So we're hoping you're all having as wonderful a time as we are. I don't know if that's ever possible.
Enjoy the moment
Great
is what we
time.
have.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
Enjoy the moments, and that's right. That's what we have is the moments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're memories. I sort of feel like, you know, life is like a book and you have different chapters and, you know, and this is a new chapter. I love it. But I look back on the chapter. I have a lot of bookmarks in the chapter where we first met.
Yeah. Okay, make more bookmarks, everyone.
Yeah.
All right, and let me know how you're doing next week. Well, tomorrow we're flying back to Ireland, and then the following day back to Chicago, and then on to Nashville and back to Long Island. So
Chicago's. I've had a lot of history in Chicago. I did Empire in Chicago for 2 years, and I did a show called Early Edition for 4 years there in Chicago. So I love Chicago.
Oh,
yeah.
great.
It's close to my heart.
Yeah, close to mine too. And so I will see you all along the road someplace, and see you next Monday. So long.